Colour plays a massive role in film and has the power to influence the emotions of its viewers. But colour hasn't always been available when making films. Before the 1940s, cinematographers, those in charge of colour and film, would go to great lengths to add even just a hint of colour to their movie. For a while, inventors such as Thomas Edison and Georges Méliès would actually paint directly onto the film, but as the lengths of films increased, this became increasingly difficult. A method of colouring called pathocolour was used on longer footage and played a key role in the development of colour in film today. In 1939, films shown in colour marked a peak age of Hollywood. The film industry has not looked back. The impact of colour is crucial in cinema of today and may change the way we react emotionally to films. The way we observe colour is connected directly to the inferior temporal cortex, a part of our brain which helps us identify shapes and colour. This part of our brain connects events in the past with things we see today and how we experience them. For example, if you enjoy long walks in the green countryside, you may look at the colour green when you're not actually in the countryside, yet still feel calm and happy, even though you aren't there. This is the same for all colours. They have a lot of power and are able to influence your anxiety levels, pulse and blood flow. They have the ability to affect us emotionally, mentally and even physically. However, this doesn't help when a cinematographer wants to give across a particular feeling using colour, because everyone experiences colours in a different way. What if, for example, while green made you feel calm and happy, it made someone else feel anxious and sad because a green car ran over their cat? Luckily, there are some commonly experienced connections which most people have with specific colours. Cinematographers have found that even though there are no real guidelines for having a specific connection with colour and emotion, there are ways in which they can edit the hue, the colour itself, saturation, intensity of the colour, and lightness and darkness of the colour to create their own emotions for the colour. For example, depending on the hue, saturation and shade of the colour, red can often be associated with love, passion, danger and anger. Orange is associated with warmth, sociability, youth and happiness, while yellow is associated with madness, sickness and insecurity. Green can be associated with nature, immaturity and darkness, and blue with coldness, calmness and isolation. Purple with fantasy, eroticism and etherealness, and finally pink with innocence, sweetness and femininity. These ideas are used in many films to create specific emotion in the viewer. There are 5 traditional colour palettes which cinematographers use, each using colour to their advantage as a way of expressing their desired emotion. They include monochromatic, analogous, triadic, contemporary and discordant. A monochromatic colour scheme is based purely on a specific colour, shown in various tints, lighter and darker versions of the same colour, shades and tones. Films with this colour scheme tend to push the intended emotional reaction to its fullest. For example, in the Grand Budapest Hotel, the monochromatic colours create a soft, lulling and smooth feeling, while in The Matrix, a constant green tone creates a sickly and unnatural effect. Analogous colour schemes are similar to monochromatic schemes in many ways. They use a set of neighbouring colours on the colour wheel to create a harmonious effect which is meant to be pleasing to the eye. These colour schemes can leave us feeling content and relaxed. Contemporary colour palettes use 2 colours from the opposite ends of the colour wheel, a warm colour and a cool colour. They are often associated with internal or external conflict. A common example of the contemporary colour palette being used in film is the 2 colours blue and orange, which are used in many Hollywood blockbusters, especially action films. Green and red are also used, mostly in artistic films such as Amelie or even Paddington 2. The triadic colour scheme takes the three primary colours, red, yellow and blue, and uses them as a colour palette for the film. These colours seem to be familiar to the viewer, making them feel more comfortable, as these are the colours they might see in everyday life around them. And lastly, the discordant colour scheme, which tends to be mostly monochromatic, with one colour from the opposite end of the colour wheel. It is often used to attract the attention of the viewer to a particular subject or idea. A prime example of this is in Schindler's List. The whole film is based in black and white, except the jacket of a little girl which is red. This colour scheme can be used in extremely effective ways and has a lot of influence over how the audience should feel. Another way that colour can be used is to show change or transformation in a film. An excellent example of this is in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. We can see the change in the direction of the story, going from innocent and curious in the first and second films to much darker in the last films. The third film marks the change in Harry's character and uses colour in an interesting way to help Harry's character change and develop, aiding and isolating him from his friends. To find out more about the way colour can be used to show transformation in film, I'm going to talk to Michael Saracen, the cinematographer of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Prisoner of Azkaban, the drama dictates the look for me. In other words, as it gets dramatically darker and more complex, then the images follow that. In terms of the lighting, the darkness, that was a very conscious choice to mirror the drama.
Okay,
anyway.
so did you use any particular colours or was it just mostly based on light and dark?
More light and dark. I mean, there were no very bright colours. We decided to take the bright colours out. We talked about doing black and white, but no way would the studio let us do that. So there's a monochrome element to it, but still within colours. I mean, you do talk in general terms about cool and warm. Warm being more accommodating, cool being a little bit more dramatic. Colour for transformation is not anything consciously I've been aware of, but maybe you as a viewer, as a student of film.
Michael Saracen, however, uses the idea of lightness and darkness rather than colour to show changes in the storyline and make us as the audience feel a certain way. So how will the development of film continue? We learnt how colour can be used to change how we feel when we watch a film, and how lightness and darkness can depict the depth of a story. But for now, we must wait and see what happens to the future of colour.